Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. Um, so uh, Today I thought to myself earlier in the day, why don't I make a new little batch of content? Because sometimes severe weather is not going to be present, so that's unfortunate. Uh, Sometimes severe weather won't be there, and when I was looking at the Colorado State University machine learning probabilities model, I really didn't see anything. Like there was like nothing there. And so I, I was just like, why don't I make a new series where I essentially like dive into some recent tornado outbreaks, super weather outbreaks. Um, so yeah, I thought, why would I not want to do that? It's content, right? So in today's video, we're going to go over the May 6th uh, severe weather outlook transitioning into early uh, May 7th this morning. Early this morning. So as you can see, if I zoom in, uh, you know, uh, you could see here there's a ton of name files, and there also is essentially just a ton of dates that are in the year, month, day format. And there also are, basically, like, I think it's population. I think that's population, or like amount of people with like Ks or like Ms or something like that. And then, in Z time or Zulu time, it's complicated. But if you go to the website, which I could actually link in the description, I've said that for a lot of websites, I just completely forgot, to be honest. Um, we we could actually go into this. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why am I not doing it on a more efficient way? Well, let's show you what happens when I do this. So archived Mesoscale discussions. If I go to the page, right, and I type in just the date, 2026-0506, it says there's nothing there. It says there were no mesoscale discussions found for, this is yesterday's date, May 6th, 2026. This is yesterday's date. It says nothing. It doesn't. I don't know why, but I just found that out like while I was trying to set up the video. I just found that out. I found out that it just didn't work. So I guess we got to do it some other way. And here it is. So we're essentially going to go through all of the mesoscale discussions that were issued for the severe weather, the actual severe weather event, um, like when it actually started. So I'm just gonna continue. I'm just gonna like look real quick. Uh, really just stay kun affinerd. No, one before that. No. So mesoscale discussion number 653 onward. Okay, so this is essentially like out of the start of everything. So uh, if you don't know, yesterday there was an enhanced risk of severe weather issued, and so uh, there was an enhanced risk of severe weather issued, and there is a tornado watch, a couple of tornado watches actually for Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. Uh, and a major tornado actually spawned yesterday. I think it was actually a couple of major tornadoes. Um, but yeah, definitely it was a tornado day, for sure. Absolutely terrible. I had to witness the damage unfold and everything. It really was a catastrophe. Uh, it was un almost unbearable to look at, when you're watching the damage happen like live right in front of your eyes. You want to like avert your gaze. It's really it's just it's blah. It's not great. So anyway, this is the first Mesoscale discussion. It's number 653. And uh, you know, sorry, my words are just not wording. Mesoscale discussion number 653. This was for a severe weather risk. Uh, let's actually just take a look at the graphic here. So the mesoscale discussion number 653, we're starting on the northwestern side of this graphic. Valid until May 6, 2026, 3 p.m. Concerning the severe weather potential, watch possible, watch probability is 60%. Watch probability and severe potential, uh, they go hand in hand. So, like, there's watch unlikely, or watch possible, or watch likely, or watch needed soon. Like those, and it goes 5%, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, and 95%. Um, so this is a 60% watch probability mesoscale discussion. That means there's a 60% chance that the Storm Prediction Center issues some sort of watch. Either, you know what I mean, a flash flood, or sorry, a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch. I apologize. Uh, so that's that. Uh, the tornado, we're looking on the left side, most probable peak intensity. This is basically the Storm Prediction Center looking at probabilities and essentially trying to discern like how bad potential hazards will be. Like, will there be an EF5 tornado, or will there be hail the size of, like, I don't know, like baseballs, something like that. Some sort of thing like that the Storm Prediction Center is looking at, and they're trying to, decipher it. And so it's on the side. And so the most probable peak intensity for this discussion area: tornadoes 100 to 125 miles per hour, hail of 1.5 to 2.5 inches, and wind of 55 to 70 miles per hour. Uh, Wind referring to like wind damage, not necessarily tornadic winds, but like winds that come from squall lines. Uh, So yeah, and then there's basically like a key below that where it says min to max, and it's essentially like the minimum amount of severe weather will be in the very light yellow, and then the worst kind of severe weather will be in pink. That's when very high-end severe weather events are expected when the peak intensity is shaded pink. That's not good. And then we're looking at the southwest quadrant of this sector of this discussion now. It's essentially saying fields plotted. Fields refers to like overlaying certain items, certain parameters. It's essentially like overlaying. When things are overlaid, they call them fields. And so the fields plotted are the 1654Z MRMS RALA, uh, which I don't know. I think this radar. I really don't know, to be quite honest with you. I have no idea. Um, Latest surface observations: 15Z, or 10 a.m. Central. Uh, 15Z, 500 millibar heights. which is in blue, those blue lines, 850 millibar temperatures in Celsius, they are the red dashed lines. And surface pressure in black, so they're those black lines, not state lines, but like the black lines that kind of run across the board here, run across the area, and then surface dew points, which are in green. They're dashed in green. Uh, so that basically is that. And then the discussion actually, it's a summary, and it says intensifying thunderstorms with increasing risk for severe weather, including tornadoes by 20 to 22 Z, if perhaps not earlier. If not perhaps earlier. So as you can see, the soundings here, like this one over here taken in southern Mississippi, 77, 77, that essentially means that there is the dew point, which is in green, and the temperature, which is in red. At the surface, they're the same, right? 79, 74, 80, 73, 82, 75. Up here towards like Birmingham, 76.57, 75.66, 77.75, and 76.68. The prime risk was in like Alabama and Mississippi. Uh, really, in Louisiana, it wasn't that great. The severe weather stuff wasn't great down there, so they were kind of excluded a little bit. But anyway, so let's read the discussion because the Storm Prediction Center issues puts out little blurbs of text that are associated with the mesoscale discussion. So, probability of watch issuance 60%. Summary. Scattered thunderstorms initiating over the next few hours may begin to more substantively intensify and organize by 3 to 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time, if not perhaps a bit earlier. A tornado watch will likely be needed at some point, though timing remains a bit uncertain. Discussion. Lift associated with lower to mid-tropospheric warm advection is contributing to a deepening moist boundary across much of Louisiana through southern and central Mississippi beneath warm and capping elevated mixed layer air. Surface dew points across this region are generally in the low to mid-70s, with breaks in the cloud cover beginning to contribute to destabilization, which may become characterized by sizable cape on the order of 2 to 3,000 joules per kilogram by late afternoon. Erosion of inhibition from below has been accompanied by the development of scattered showers with isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms likely to continue to gradually intensify or initiate over the next few hours, particularly through 20 to 21Z, when rapid refresh suggests that a low-amplitude wave migrating through the crest of broader ridging aloft may contribute to subtle mid-level height falls. More substantive intensification appears increasingly probable. This is likely to include organizing supercells in the presence of strong deep-layered shear. Although the enlargement of clockwise curved low-level photographs may remain modest, even with some strengthening of southwesterly flow around 850 millibars later this afternoon, profiles may still become conducive to the potential for a couple of strong tornadoes given the saturated low-level thermodynamic profilings with high moisture content. Otherwise, the more discrete, stronger cells probably will be accompanied by a risk for large and potentially damaging hail. The southward advancing and undercutting surface cold front to the north seems likely to provide the northern limit to this threat, with the stronger mid-level ridging and capping providing the southern limit near and inland of coastal areas. So this is mesoscale discussion number 653. We still have a ton more to go. So one down, two to go, 653. Now we're on to 654. This is essentially when the tornado watches were issued, essentially. Let me actually go back because I think there's a... Just hold. Okay, so kind of what I thought here. This is a little bit weird. Sorry, I'm getting used to this website, and everything's all jumbled around. Uh, my bad. I just technical difficulties-ish. So, cool. So 653. So now we're on 654. Okay. Yeah, sorry. My brain was not braining here. So there are two tornado watches were actually issued for Alabama, one for Alabama, and then one for Mississippi and Mississippi, Louisiana, and actually a little bit of Texas, uh, concerning tornado watches number 186 and 187. So, uh, tornado probabilities 120 to 145 miles per hour, a hail of 1.5 to 2.5 inches, and winds of 55 to 70 miles per hour. Fields plotted 2012 MRMS RALA. I'm assuming that's radar. I think that's actually radar, yeah. Latest surface and observations 19Z or 2 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Central, 19Z, 18Z. Yeah, 2 p.m. Central or Central, 2 p.m. Central, 19Z, 18Z. Yeah, 2 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 500 millibar heights in blue. 850 millibar temperatures are in red. Surface pressure is in black, and surface dew points are in green. Uh, I understand that there are a lot of things to be looking at here. I completely get it. But if you always can go to like spc.noaa.gov and you can always look at the mesoscale discussions yourself because sometimes it's hard for me to explain things while I'm trying to also record content for y'all. So just don't just bear with me. Um, so this on this it says evolving supercells accompanied by increasing risk for a strong tornado or two through 5 through 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And that's in brown. So, uh, summary, well, we don't really need to read the summary because it's literally the same thing. Discussion, substantive intensification of initially widely scattered discrete thunderstorm development is ongoing as a seasonably moist boundary layer approaches peak afternoon destabilization, including mixed layer CAPE in excess of 2,000 joules per kilogram, and inhibition continues to erode from below as depicted in soundings from Jackson, Mississippi. As subtle mid-level height flows overspread the region during the next few hours, further suppression of inhibition appears probable, which may result in increasing numbers of intensifying thunderstorms. Latest rapid refresh continues to indicate notable intensification of west to southwesterly flow in the 700 to 500 millibar layer, around 40 to 50 knots, across east central Louisiana through south central Mississippi between now and 23Z to 0Z. As this occurs, associated strengthening of deep layer shear may promote increasing tornadic potential in evolving supercells, even with only some further enlargement of modest clockwise curved low-level rotographs. High surface dews, now in the mid-70s, are enhancing near-surface buoyancy and potential upward accelerations, which may contribute to the risk for a strong tornado or two. So this was depicting strong tornadoes, and strong tornadoes they got, as there was a major, major tornado that went through southwestern Mississippi. You'll see that. You'll see that in just a little bit when I go through all of the mesoscale discussions. You will understand and you will see. So 654. Let's move on to 655. 655. So basically, yes, they're color coded, but not really. I mean, the Storm Prediction Center kind of just uses really any color to be quite honest. I mean, there's not a necessary correlation, I don't think, with like looking at all the mesoscale discussions and everything. Um, so I mean, don't mind the color coding, but it's definitely there. I know it probably serves a purpose, but I really don't know, to be honest. So this is mesoscale discussion number 655. This is concerning Tornado Watch number 187. And the most probable peak tornado intensity is 120 to 145. Hail is 1.5 to 2.5, and wind is 55 to 70. Fields plotted MRMS, RALA, and geostationary operational environmental satellite sandwich. Latest surface analysis, surface observations, 21Z ML Cape, and effective shear with interstate highways. So, uh, you can see the Cape lines are these orange-yellow lines. Brown, then they become yellow, then orange, then kind of getting red, and then these little weird shaped things, they're called wind barbs, and they detect the wind shear. So it says severe weather risk continues within Weather Watch number 187. Summary: supercells with the risk for all hazards to continue across Alabama this evening. A supercell continues to mature across south-central Alabama near Montgomery this afternoon, with signs of strengthening rotation. Additional development is ongoing across western Alabama and further north near the cold front in northern Alabama. The environment across Alabama remains favorable for supercells capable of all hazards, including strong tornadoes. Through the evening, 700 to 850 millibar flow will increase, enlarging low-level photographs and promoting favorable conditions for tornadoes, particularly across south-central Alabama. And as the front moves south and storms cluster, tendency to grow upscale will support an increasingly damaging wind threat. So, at 6:55, that's essentially summarizing severe weather coverage within Tornado Watch number 187. So, yeah, that was 6:55. So now we're on to 6:56. 6:56 HTML. Okay, so this is a severe potential. Watch possible. Watch probability is 40%. Uh, Fields plotted 2142Z. Uh, Actually, first of all, notice that rotation. Notice that damn supercell near Montgomery, Alabama. That is a prolific supercell. Just on the looks of things, with the composite radar and everything, that just looks, whew, jeez. So, uh, severe potential watch possible with the probabilities of 40%. Most probable peak tornado potential intensity is 85 to 110. Wind is 55 to 70, and hail is less than or equal to 1.25. And then in northeast Alabama, southern extreme southeastern Tennessee, extreme southwestern North Carolina, a very small tip of South Carolina, and uh, northern Georgia, especially the northwestern parts. Increasing storms this afternoon and evening could pose a risk for damaging wind gusts or a tornado. So, yeah, you could definitely see thunderstorm activity going on. Uh, Fields plotted 2142Z MRMS RALA, so that's the radar. Latest surface observations, that's a trend there. 21Z ML Cape, also a trend there, and effective shear. So usually the Storm Prediction Center plots instability, potentially interstate highways, shear, maybe these significant tornado parameter, the radar, stuff like that. Yeah, it's very, very important that they do that. Boy. So summary. Uh, so I won't read the first sentence because the first sentence is kind of saying what this says. kind of saying the same thing. While buoyancy is modest, deep layer shear remains quite strong along and near the front. A risk for damaging gusts and perhaps a tornado or two may develop. Uh, Discussion. As of 2140 UTC, regional radar and visible imagery showed convective blossoming along the diffuse frontal zone stretching from northern Alabama into Georgia and portions of Tennessee and North Carolina. Obstinate cloud cover has limited buoyancy along the front northeast of tornado watch number 187. Still, mid-60s surface dew points are allowing for around 500 joules per kilogram of mixed layer convective available potential energy. As storm coverage increases upstream over Alabama, strong deep layer flow, around 60 to 80 knots, may allow for organization into supercells or linear clusters. This could support damaging wind gusts with the strongest thunderstorms, given the rather strong background shear. Low-level shear remains modest, but given the proximity to the front, a tornado or two may also be possible, especially with any sustained cells. Observational trends and convective allowing model guidance show a messy storm mode with numerous thunderstorm interactions likely. This, along with the weak buoyancy, makes the severe potential in this region highly uncertain. However, some severe risk could materialize, and a weather watch is indeed possible. So that was 656. 657 is next. Okay, this is where it gets scary. So this is where we are headed into the uh, danger zone, the prime time for tornadoes. Uh, so Mesoscale discussion number 657, concerning tornado watch number 186. Uh, Tornado probable peak intensity is 120 to 145. Hail is 1.5 to 2.5, and wind is 55 to 70. Fields plotted, radar and GOES VIS sandwich satellite. They say sandwich. Sandwich is just like a layered, uh, it's a satellite layer. I don't know why they call it that, but they do. So yeah. Latest surface observations, latest radar VID winds. VID is just like a thing that they use at like the surface levels, I believe, and it calculates a ton of things. 23Z hodograph map, all these colorful lines and shapes, those right there, the pink, red, green, and yellow lines right there, connected to this red dot and stuff like that, those are hodographs, and then interstate highways. So you can see all the interstates. Cool. There's an interstate up there. Interstate. Ton of interstates. So, potential for a strong tornado increasing. And then these arrows are pointing to these two storms. This one over here near Alexandria and Natchez, and this one over here, southwest of Jackson, southeast of Vicksburg, north of Macomb. Those are storms of interest. Now, keep in mind, this is all for yesterday's risk, because this is an archived severe weather risk. So, this is not live. This is not happening right now. This is yesterday. So, um, so summary. I'm probably gonna need to blow my nose, so I'll be right back. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. There you go. Okay, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. So, summary. Supercells showing signs of intensification and increasing tornado potential. Discussion. Supercells crossing the Louisiana-Mississippi border and across southern Mississippi have shown an uptick in intensity over the last 30 minutes. VAD profiles from HDC, or Hammond, Louisiana, show increasing the 850 to 700 millibar flow beginning to be analyzed just south of the Mississippi border. This increase in the low to mid-level flow will aid in increasing the level shear and thusly an increase in the tornado threat this evening. The cell moving into Walthall County, Mississippi has had a tornado reported with it over the last 30 minutes, and this cell will continue into a favorable thermodynamic environment across southern Mississippi where moderate to strong ML Cape overlapping strong deep layer shear around 50 to 65 knots. This shows signs of cycling and strengthening. This will continue to pose a risk for tornadoes, including the potential for a strong tornado. Two other supercells across Concordia County, Louisiana, and across Copiah County in Mississippi are also becoming better organized in the low levels. These are also moving within a very favorable thermodynamic environment and may also pose a risk for tornadoes over the next few hours. So, the Storm Prediction Center has essentially spotted two thunderstorms that are of interest that are in a very favorable dynamic environment and could potentially produce very strong tornadoes. I shouldn't say very strong, it's strong. So this is 657. Let's go to 658. Here we go. Strong tornado. Here we go. 658. Mesoscale discussion over 658. Concerning tornado watch number 186. Most probable peak tornado intensity is 140 to 170 miles per hour. Hail is 1.5 to 2.5 inches, and wind is 55 to 70 miles per hour. This supercell right here, just southwest of Natchez, northeast of Macomb, has a tornado associated with it. You can't see it because the composite radar essentially combines all of the radars together and averages them out into one image. So things could be a little bit downtrended on certain radars because they're all the accessible and possible radar images are being conglomerated and blended into one. So things kind of look a little bit differently. Now you could obviously see that this is a cyclic supercell. It has that classic kidney bean shape. It's curved and it's very clear. The inflow notch. There's an inflow notch. It's very clear. Clear air filtering in. So that storm southwest of Natchez is coming. It's gonna do damage, and it did damage. It already did damage yesterday. I don't know why I'm talking about this like it's happening right now because it's not. You could also see that there is another supercell with a tail core affecting Hattiesburg, but the actual tornadic part is just to the southwest. That will also get a mesoscale discussion associated with it. I believe it would be the next one after 658. I believe mesoscale discussion number 659 is going to have that supercell be a mesoscale discussion. But yeah. So yesterday was really a crazy day, unfortunately, and many structures were damaged. Fields plotted 14Z radar, surface analysis, surface observations, radar VAD winds, effective storm relative helicity at 0Z, meters squared per second squared, and interstate highways. So, supercell with strong tornado threat to persist. Supercell with a strong tornado to persist eastward across southern Mississippi, south of US 84, and will be approaching the Interstate 55 corridor very soon. Discussion. A supercell has strengthened rapidly and is currently producing a strong tornado with estimated winds around 135 to 180 miles per hour near Meadville, Mississippi. This storm is moving within a volatile environment of moderate to strong mixed-layer convective available potential energy, increasing low-level storm relative helicity, around 200 to 250 meters squared per second squared from DGX, I think that's Jackson, to Hammond, Louisiana. Effective STP is analyzed to the south around 2 to 3. It is likely that this thunderstorm will persist downstream to the east with potential for continued strong to intense tornadoes. Now, uh, this supercell that produced the strong tornado actually had like 3 tornado emergencies, so it was a absolutely terrible tornado. I didn't get to see the whole footage of like the whole tornado emergency going on, but I did know that there was a tornado emergency. I did know that. Uh, and then like an hour later, I came back to it like after a shower and doing things. Uh, there was still a tornado emergency because the National Weather Service issued like 2 more, and I didn't realize. I was like, holy shit. But, like, to be honest, that was very crazy. That was a holy shit moment. It really was. So this is another strong tornado threat. That's 658. Let's go to 659. I told you, this 659, the Mesoscale discussion number 659 would be about this supercell. And I was right. I was right. This is a very simple, straightforward Mesoscale discussion. It's only showing the radar and interstate highways with concerning tornado watch number 186. Most probable peak tornado intensity 120 to 145. Hail is 1.5 to 2.5, and wind is 55 to 70. An intense supercell capable of strong to intense tornadoes is likely to continue. So now the flank the northwestern, I don't know, the northwestern flank of the hail core is still affecting was still affecting Hattiesburg, excuse me, was still affecting Hattiesburg in this image, but the tornadic part is south of Hattiesburg. So you could see at the end of that hook, the tornado would form there. And essentially, this red line over here that says like 7 to 712, it's essentially like where the supercell has been, and then the yellow dashed line is where the supercell is expected to go. So Hattiesburg, Leakesville, and Chatham were under this risk. So an intense supercell with a recent strong tornado is ongoing and expected to continue. The environment remains very favorable for strong tornadoes across southeastern Mississippi and southwestern Alabama. Discussion. As of 20Z, local radar imagery showed an intense supercell with a recent, likely strong tornado ongoing over portions of southern Forest County in southeastern Mississippi. This supercell is ongoing in an environment with STP values of 2 to 3. The MOB or Mobile VAD shows an enlarged photograph with 200 to 300 meters squared per second squared of ESRH. This strongly suggests this discrete supercell will continue eastward with a risk for tornadoes, possibly strong to intense, this evening. Currently tracking at 240 degrees at 40 knots, extrapolates this storm across the Mississippi-Alabama state line near 1 to 130 Z, or 8 to 830 central. Large hail and damaging winds also remain possible. So that was 659. Let's go to 660. 660. So this was the tornado watch I was talking about for Georgia and South Carolina. Uh, uh, damaging gusts and a couple of tornadoes remain possible. Concerning tornado watch number 188, most probable tornado 100 to 125. Wind is 55 to 70, and hail is less than or equal to 1.25. Again, this is also a very simple, gosh, what do you call it? It's a very simple graphic here. We're kind of coming to an end a little bit here. Fields plotted, radar, surface observations, and the available energy. Mesoscale discussion number 660. Portions of Georgia. Tornado watch number 188. Summary: a complicated mesoscale environment with widespread convection will continue to support a severe risk this evening. Damaging wind gusts are the most likely hazard, but a couple of tornadoes are possible. Discussion: across Tornado Watch number 188, several clusters of strong to severe storms are ongoing as of 1Z. The northern cluster has been hampered by earlier outflow and weaker buoyancy. However, strong vertical shear and the presence of a few stronger reflectivity cores along and just north of the outflow over northern Alabama and northwest Georgia may support some upscale growth into a loose line or cluster with time. This could support an isolated risk for damaging wind gusts. Farther south, a mix of supercells and linear clusters across eastern Alabama will eventually move into western and central Georgia this evening. While buoyancy is again fairly limited, strong vertical shear may maintain a few of these stronger thunderstorms tonight. Increasing low-level shear beneath a 30 to 40 knot low-level jet would also support a couple of tornadoes with any stronger rotating cells. Thus, the severe risk is likely to continue over much of Weather Watch number 188. So nothing really much going on there on 660. Let's go to 661. Severe weather threats unfortunately continue. You can see the supercell that's south of Jackson, north of Macomb. Uh, it's looking less impressive here because, as you can see, the supercell, it has a tail core, and then its tornadic core is embedded in there somewhere inside the hook. However, when I say it looks less impressive, it's because on radar there is a tail that's forming off of the supercell, and so I think the supercell around this time was likely occluding, meaning that the tornado was actually getting caught up in the hail core and the core of the supercell, and the tornado would essentially die in an occlusion. But sometimes occlusions can fail. Sometimes occlusions can fail, which means that the tornado, all it will do is essentially waver in intensity. It could get really weak and really strong all over again. That's uh, sometimes how failed occlusions work. The tornado's really, really strong, then all of a sudden gets really weak, and then all of a sudden gets really strong once again. That's a failed occlusion. So, this graphic is not as simple. Severe threat continues within Weather Watches number 186 and 187. Uh, 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 Concerning 186 and 187, most probable tornado is 120 to 145. Hail is 1.5 to 2.5, and wind is 55 to 70. Clusters of thunderstorms are still ongoing. And you can see that there's all this cloud cover because of the supercell. Yay. Well, not yay, but you can see all the cloud cover. It actually looks pretty cool. And then you can't really see it because the mesoscale boundary line is affecting the visibility, but there is a supercell that is still ongoing. Doesn't really look. I mean, it kind of looks great, but kind of not at the same time. It's like convective contamination a little bit. There's a supercell that's south or east of Hattiesburg and northeast of Wiggins, southeast of Laurel. So fields plotted, radar, satellite, surface observations, radar VAD winds, 1Z effective at SRH, and interstate highways. So, discussion. Sometimes I'm not going to read the summary, sometimes I am. Discussion. Along and south of the cold front in central Alabama, supercells have produced large to very large hail, up to 2.75 inches. This threat will likely continue over the next couple of hours, given strong deep layer shear and mixed layer convective available potential energy, around 10 to 1500 joules per kilogram. The increasing low-level jet has been noted across southern Mississippi over the last couple of hours, with notable increase in supercell intensity. Guidance suggests that through time, the 40 to 50 knot low-level jet will increase and move northeastward into southern Alabama over the next several hours. Mature supercells coming out of Mississippi may continue to pose a risk for tornadoes into Alabama as a result. Cells along the front may tend to grow upscale into clusters, but will still pose risks for line-embedded circulations and potentially tornadoes. So that's 661. Let's move on to 662. Here we go. Lord have mercy. Severe threat continues within portions of weather watches 186 and 187. A replacement watch may be needed by 4Z or 11 p.m. Central. Concerning the watches 186 and 187, tornado 120 to 145, hail 1.5 to 2.5, and winds 55 to 70. You can also see if the graph is not simple enough and you want a very oversimplified graphic, here's just the boundary. Here's just essentially the boundary of the mesoscale discussion. It's drawn from southwest Mississippi to the Alabama-Georgia border. And it's southern Mississippi and southern Alabama, basically. Fields plotted, radar, observations, radar VID winds, 3Z ML Cape, effective shear and interstate highways. So, summary just says the same thing. Discussion. The thermodynamic environment continues to trend down across portions of central Mississippi and Alabama as the front sags southward. Further south, more favorably warm and unstable air and strong deep layer shear remains near the Gulf. With continued steady increase in the low-level jet expected across southern Mississippi and Alabama overnight, a corridor of continuing severe risk looks likely. Given favorable low-level shear profiles, the tornado risk will likely continue into the overnight across these areas. Risk for instances of large hail will also continue, and a replacement watch will probably be needed before 11 p.m. Central, or 4Z. 4 UTC, same thing. So that's 662. Let's move on to 663. So what do you call it? A replacement tornado watch was issued. So not surprised there. The severe weather complex will still continue to move down south into Mississippi, southwest Georgia, northwest Florida, the Floridian Panhandle a little bit. So, yeah. Every mesoscale discussion until a certain point is still tied to the remnants of the severe weather risk. So, a tornado and damaging wind threat will continue overnight. Eventual downstream weather watch issuance is likely. Concerning tornado watch number 189, tornado 100 to 125, wind 55 to 70, hail 1 to 1.75. Fields plotted, radar at 1:36 in the morning, latest surface observations, radar VID winds at 1 a.m. ML Cape, and effective shear. Discussion, skipping the summary. Despite the presence of very rich low-level moisture, moderate buoyancy, and strong deep layer flow and shear, convection has become rather disorganized early this morning across southern Mississippi and Alabama into southwest Georgia. This is likely due to gradually increasing mixed-layer convective inhibition and generally poor low-level lapse rates related to the deep and moist boundary layer. However, favorable low-level moisture transport and upper jet dynamics will continue to sustain convection through the overnight, with most guidance depicting renewed strengthening of the 850 to 700 millibar flow. While a cluster mode may be maintained through the overnight hours, strong effective shear, on the order of 50 plus knots, will remain favorable for embedded supercells and/or small bowing segments, if there is any uptick in storm intensity. 0 to 1 kilometer storm relative velocity will conditionally support tornadoes along and ahead of the composite outflow that will continue to move southeastward with time. Strong low to mid-level flow will also support damaging wind potential, especially if any stronger cold pools can become established. Isolated hail also cannot be ruled out with the strongest updrafts. With some pre-convective moistening and destabilization expected into parts of southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia and the Floridian Panhandle, eventual downstream watch issuance is considered likely. So, that's 663. We will move on to 664. Some threat for damaging winds and a tornado will continue through dawn. So, the severe weather complex again is moving south, and the Storm Prediction Center did issue a downstream tornado watch for southeast Alabama, southwest Georgia, and the panhandle of Florida, uh, the central and western part. Concerning tornado watches numbers 189 and 190. Tornado 85 to 110, winds 55 to 70, hail less than or equal to 1.25 inches. Fields plotted, radar observations, VID winds, Cape at 4 a.m., and effective shear. Discussion. A small supercell has evolved across southeast Mississippi in the vicinity of an outflow boundary associated with more widespread convection across South Alabama. The cell may have the greatest short-term opportunity to move within a somewhat more moist and unstable environment. With strong deep layer flow and shear still in place, localized damaging winds and/or a tornado cannot be ruled out with this cell if it persists. Otherwise, convection near and north of the outflow may tend to remain somewhat disorganized in the short term. Though if any ongoing thunderstorms can mature and take on a more rightward motion like the southeast Mississippi cell, some uptick in the damaging winds and tornado threat could still occur through dawn. That may be it. 665. Uh, oh yeah, it's this one. So there was a glitch um in the software or something, and so the mesoscale discussion looks like this. It looks like how they used to issue mesoscale discussions back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, when, it was like COVID era, like pre-COVID and just starting COVID era. It kind of looked like this. So there's a glitch. There is a glitch. Trust me, everything was there. There was a mesoscale discussion issued. It's just it was delineated in such an odd way, and it didn't work. There's nothing there. I mean, it says areas affected, so you kind of guess or understand or know the approximate location of where the mesoscale discussion was issued. It was issued for southern Alabama, southwest Georgia, and the Floridian Panhandle. So, severe weather threat for tornado watch number 189 and 190 continues. Some threat for damaging winds and a tornado will persist through the morning. Scattered strong thunderstorms are ongoing as of 12 UTC across South Alabama, southwest Georgia, and the northwest Florida Panhandle. Despite rich low-level moisture and a favorable kinematic environment, storms have struggled to maintain severe intensity this morning, likely due to weak low to mid-level lapse rates and a tendency for thunderstorms to generally be oriented parallel to a southward sagging outflow boundary. Earlier visible satellite imagery suggests some clearing and potential for filtered heating across parts of the Florida Panhandle into southwest Georgia. Any substantial destabilization and steepening of low-level lapse rates could yield an uptick in severe potential through the morning as thunderstorms generally move southeastward. While some modest weakening and veering of low-level flow will be possible from west to east, deep layer flow and shear will remain more than sufficient for organized convection, resulting in localized damaging winds and tornado potential with any supercells or small bowing segments. Yippee. So, I think that's it. I think the next one, the devil's number, yeah. This has nothing to do with really anything. This risk doesn't have anything to do with the severe weather complex yesterday, which means I can finally end the video. I've been talking for like 51 minutes, and I don't feel like I want to talk anymore. So that was Mesoscale Discussions numbers 653. Yes, 653. Mesoscale Discussion number 653 all the way to 665. This weird looking thing. I'm never gonna forget this. So I will probably be making another one in the future. No severe weather is expected tomorrow. No severe weather is expected Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on. Uh, However, Pennsylvania does have state testing on Monday and Tuesday, this upcoming Monday and Tuesday, so I will likely not be making videos as I will probably be very tired, very demotivated, and will likely need to mentally recover uh, and physically recover because it's a very monotonous task sitting there for 3 hours and just doing bull crap testing. It's gonna definitely be a pain in the ass. So um, I I really don't know if I I really don't know if I really don't know if I'll be making any videos on those 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. Also, Monday and Tuesday of the following week. So next week, not next Monday, but the following Monday. Uh, you know, Monday the 11th, Tuesday the 12th, Monday the 18th, and Tuesday the 19th. I probably won't be making any videos. Probably not because I will be very tired and very exhausted um, from Pennsylvania state testing. So that's just really a heads up. So if I don't post for 2 days, um, it's not me. It's the Keystones. Uh, I know it's stupid, huh? But I will not be taking any state testing next year or the year after that, which will be amazing. So I can post all the severe weather content I would like. Uh, so yeah, really, I have nothing else to say. So hopefully I can continue to do this in the future, and hopefully the Storm Prediction Center can get their crap together and actually fix their damn website because it's so inconvenient. To, go through all the name files and shape files or whatever and just go through everything. But, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Uh, so, yeah. Anyway, I digress. It's the end of the video. Hope you have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.